Hello, everyone. We're live. Combat Carnivore here, and we have a very special guest, Katie Bohanek, right?
Bohanek, yeah.
Bohanek. So I just got. Thank you so much. Tell everyone really quick because I know I've heard your name announced on so many fight cards and stuff like that, and they always say Bochanik or Bochanik or something like that. Correct every. Put it on the record how to
All
say
right,
your last name.
all right, guys. So it's Bohanek, Bochenek. We just take out the C. Just pretend like it's not there. Bohanek.
Bohanek. All right, sounds good. So Katie Bohanek, thank you so much for joining me. And I mean, you're getting to the point of like super fame. So I'm lucky right now that I knew you beforehand. So that way you could still be on my humble podcast. So thank you.
Absolutely. I'll come on anytime.
Thank you so much. So I have two main things I wanted to talk to you about today, and I hope one of them doesn't. It's going to be a little bit maybe more uncomfortable. So if you're not comfortable going with that, just let me know, and then we'll steer away from that. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can ask whatever.
All right. Awesome. All right. So before we get started, let's go ahead and just for the record, what tell us some of your accolades, how long you've been training jujitsu, why you got started, though, set up the audience real quick for Katie Bohanek's jujitsu odyssey.
Yeah, absolutely. Odyssey. I like that. So I've been training about 6 years now. I am out of pedigo submission fighting. My background, I came from a 10th Planet school. So I was originally 10th Planet. So my game's a little more funky than you'll typically see for somebody who's not 10th Planet. I still got that little funk left in me. But I started training in, 2019, right after college. I was looking for, something different. I came from a powerlifting background. So prior to jujitsu, I had powerlifted for, I don't even know how many years. I had a world record. I had a few world records when I was 16 or 17. And then I just made the transition over to jiu-jitsu because I wanted something different. I got tired of doing the same lifts every single week, and it was just monotonous and too much. I was a collegiate powerlifter. I was also a collegiate cheerleader, and for a little bit, I was a three-sport athlete in college, and I was on the track team a little bit as well. But that didn't last long. I couldn't do three for very long. So, but yeah, I mean, I had an ex-boyfriend who, shout out to Mike, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, I hope you're doing well. He was the one that always pushed me to train. He basically said, like you have the strength base and you have the athletic base. Like I think you could do something in jiu-jitsu, and here we are. Hopefully I can still reach that goal. So, yeah.
So basically, you've been a freak athlete your whole life, and now you just transferred it to jujitsu. What about jujitsu specifically? Because there's plenty of other things, right? Like there's plenty of other things that women can thrive in, and this is going to kind of help introduce us into the topic as a segue. But what about this male-dominated, being sweated on aspect in the sport that where you're like, that's me. That's something I want to engage in.
I love that question. So I feel like most people, anytime they're like, oh, a contact sport, oh, that's male dominated, oh, people are going to sweat on me, that's disgusting, why would I do that, right? For me, it was one of the things that I feel like kind of drove me towards it, because as a collegiate athlete, I needed to do something next, right? I didn't just want to like have my college career and then get fat and drink beer. I wouldn't drink beer, I don't drink, but a lot of people after their collegiate runs over, they just don't do anything and they're just no longer an athlete. So I knew I wanted to stay an athlete in some capacity. And for me, with the powerlifting background, it either would have been CrossFit or it would have been jiu-jitsu. And I'm lucky I had people pushing me towards that. I started training at the gym at 10 Planet Lombard, the gym that my ex-boyfriend had trained at, and he told me to go to. And I just remember like walking in there my very first day, and I had messaged the coach Omar Ocasio on Instagram, and I said, "Hey, I'm a friend of Mike's. He wanted me to come train," and the guy had quit. My ex-boyfriend had quit. He got his blue belt and left. The typical blue belt curse. So he had left, and I messaged Omar and said, "Hey, I want to try it out. I'm a friend of Mike's," and he was like, "Okay, awesome, come on by." And he was just very welcoming right out the gate. So I came on by, and right away he goes, "Where's Mike?" And I go, "He's not here. Like he didn't come with me." And he goes, "Oh." And he goes, "Most women don't show up by themselves." So I was just very surprised. Like it wasn't a bad thing. He wasn't saying it was a bad thing. He was just very surprised that I came on my own. And right away, like I was surrounded by great people. Everybody was so nice, so welcoming. And one thing in particular stuck with me, which if you guys are listening, especially the females, I want you to take this with you, and I want you to make sure that other people get this experience too. Omar had said, you know, this is a very, very close contact sport. He's like, there are some positions that may be uncomfortable. He's like, if you are ever uncomfortable, anybody ever makes you uncomfortable, says anything to you, anything at all, he's like, you let me know and it will be handled. And having that experience right away for me set the tone of like, I like this gym. I like
Yeah.
this coach. Like, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad dynamics in gyms, a lot of not good people in the sport, and I found a great gym and a great coach right out the gate. So it was easy for me to stick with it, you know. And same thing now, like I have a great gym and a great coach and people who have my back and support me. So it's easy. It was easy, really easy transition. Once I got a taste, I didn't want to quit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's great to hear because I think, as you said, when you say there's like a lot of bad people in sport, I would say that there's not a lot of bad people, but more than there should be. Like, you
More
know what I
than
mean?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think that's very well put. I agree.
Yeah, and that's the thing about jujitsu. It's so welcoming to everybody that you throw a big net, you catch a lot, a lot of what you want, but also some things that you don't want. So yeah, it's hard to manage that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't want to be blasting anyone, but there's a very big name who just got in trouble for like stuff that was on his phone. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's just
Oh,
like from
yeah.
people that you wouldn't expect it from. And I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that situation at all.
I mean, we could talk about it if there's, you know, people I know that are involved with it, and it's not my story to tell. Um,
Well, yes, okay. I should let me reframe the question. How do you like? Actually, you know what? We can segue into that. So this is I'm going to get all like really into like kind of the dirty aspects of this, and then big make a big round circle, hopefully at the end to say, okay, but you should still do jujitsu. Okay, so right off, here's the ugly. So and tell me again if you ever feel uncomfortable with this, we'll navigate this the conversation elsewhere.
go
I
for
see.
it.
I love the fact that you post a lot of like kind of the harassment that you receive as a female grappler in the jujitsu world. You know what I mean? And kind of like the disgust that's out there. I'm really happy that you put that kind of on blast for everybody to see because it shows kind of how cringe it is for like even if you were about to be somebody like that and you were like on the verge of like, okay, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, and you saw people blasting that out, you're like, oh, that's not appropriate. So I like that you're putting that awareness out there. And I think you handle it very well, but I think there's a lot of women who don't know how to handle that situation when they're receiving, I mean, inappropriate DMs and things of that nature. And men don't have to deal with this, or if they do, a very small fractional basis.
Yes.
Um, what was it like for you? I guess you've been a female athlete your whole life, but what was it like for you when you started getting that fame? And of course, being an attractive female grappler, did how did you approach first? How did how did you how did it hit you, and then how did you approach handling it?
So great questions overall. Also, you keep saying famous. I hate that term because I'm just a girl that does jujitsu, and people think I'm funny sometimes. So I feel like fame is not the right word for it. I feel like I just, you know, like have a following and I promote myself as we all should in the sport, you know, like if you are a grappler and want opportunities, if you promote yourself just right, like people will want to follow, people will want to see your story and see what you have to say. Um, but there's jokes to be made too in the sport. Like we do a really niche, goofy sport, and it can be hilarious. But to answer your questions, you know, when I first started, I came from a basically a really shitty situation. Unfortunately, I had been drugged at a bar in college, and I was surrounded by great people. I was safe. I was protected. My friends looked out for me, and they got me home, and they got me safe. But not everybody's that lucky. Not everybody's as fortunate as I am. Um, it was a really shitty situation. Am I thankful for it? Yeah, because it really showed me, you know, you have to be questioning people. You have to be seeing those characteristics of people who, you know, might want to push the line, might want to try to take your kindness and use it against you or use it to benefit them. And unfortunately, I learned the hard way how not to be naive. And, you know, there are just those people out there that will take advantage of any opportunity. And there are those people in this sport, unfortunately. But going back to your question, so at first, when I first started, you know, I came from powerlifting and cheerleading. And I was like the preppy college girl when I first started jiu-jitsu. And I was like, everybody wants to be my friend. And there are those people that you meet at like open mat or you meet at tournaments and stuff. And they are just trying to sleep with you. They are just trying to get your attention. They're just trying to see what they can get away with. And I had a lot of messages very early on that I didn't catch right away. I was like, oh, what a nice guy. Everybody knows some sports, so nice and so chatty. And I had a friend who was like, "What is wrong with you? That man is trying to like get you to come over, get you to sleep with him. Like he literally offered you a free private and said, normally I charge, but for you, I'll let you come over and learn from me for free." And I was like, "Wow, how nice." No, no, it wasn't like. And the guy wasn't like a black belt. He wasn't a competitor. It was just some fucking guy. Like, just some guy that did jujitsu that also was trying to use the sport to his benefit to sleep around. And there are those people, and it's unfortunate, but you see them in any capacity of sports, right? It's not just jujitsu. It's not just specific to jujitsu. But because this sport is closer contact, there are those people that really try to use that against some people. But I learned a little bit the hard way, but as soon as I realized it, I was like, oh, fuck that guy. I bet he's going to hate it if I screenshot that, post it on my story, and tag him. So now he's going to be shamed publicly for being a piece of shit. So I am the kind of girl where if like somebody comes up and hits on me at a bar and says something inappropriately, I don't drink, so I'm not really at bars, but if somebody were to say something inappropriate to me at a bar, I'll be like, what a piece of shit this guy is. So everybody looks. I have no problem being the bad guy or the bitch or whatever it is when somebody's out of line. And again, I learned the hard way in life. So now I can be that person that's like, how do you fucking feel about it? You want to be an asshole? I'll treat you like an asshole, and everybody's gonna know you're an asshole. So that's kind of blossomed into what it is now, where I post those DMs or I post those weird comments where people are saying crazy things. Like, one of them was like, me and my wife ever break up, I'm gonna call you or whatever. Like, just crazy shit. Or somebody commented, who do I have to get pregnant for you to love me? And just weird comments. Um, just insane, absurd things that people say because they have no boundaries on the internet. There was actually one instance, you may have seen this. There was a guy that commented back to me in response to a video my friend made. Um, and I always make the joke, like I say I'm your dad's favorite grappler or whatever, or I'll say this one's for the single dads and stuff like that. And people love it. Like, I'm not out here trying to like hunt for the single dads or anything, but it's just a shout out to them. Like, single dads especially have a hard time. Like, to single moms, absolutely, but this one's for the single dads, So I always shout them out and I always talk about that. And I made a comment about that, and some guy had said, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something vastly inappropriate. And he had in his profile picture a picture of him, his wife, and his kid. And his bio said like father, like it was like husband first, then father. It was something ridiculous, but um, so I tagged his wife. I found his wife and I tagged her, and I messaged her and I said, "Hey, girl, just want you to know, like, this is exactly what happened. This is what I said. This is what he said. I was not inviting this. Like, I'm so sorry. I just want you to be aware." And this girl was super receptive, super responsive. Like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. No, I really appreciate it. It's not your fault." And just situations like that where, I mean, women in the sport, I feel like this sport especially, a lot of us are afraid to take up space. And we're afraid to use our voice for whatever reason. If there's repercussions of maybe a promotion saying, "No, I don't want her on. She's obnoxious," or she put somebody on blast that I'm friends with or whatever. And I personally couldn't give a shit less. I'm sorry for my French, but
Oh no.
you know, I want to set the example and show. Did I lose?
Yeah, I lost you just for a
Oh,
second.
shit.
How are you now? You're good.
Oh, okay. Now I can hear you.
Okay, good.
All right. Sorry about that. But yeah, it just, you know, a lot of people are afraid to take up space and be honest and say what they think, and that's something I've never struggled with since I learned better. So I want to, you know, set the example of use your voice. If something's wrong, say something's wrong. If somebody gives you the creeps, say they give you the creeps. Don't let them, because if you let them, they're going to keep doing it to other people too.
Yeah, it's funny, like the way men and women, the different problems that they have in terms of the online space when trying to be in this sport. It's so crazy because, like, men, I've seen men who are world champions, and I finally find them on Instagram and they have 2,000 followers. But you see a
right.
girl who's never won a world championship in her life with 300,000 followers, and you're like,
Yes.
what? Like, you know, so it's like it's much easier to get the fame, but then once you have the fame, it's like I haven't received any. I've received a lot of hate stuff online, but nothing sexual whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just sucks that, like, we can't cancel out like certain biology, and some people just have zero control, and that happens to you guys. So here now, and I still want to be on this topic, but maybe I can curve it a little bit. So here's the deal: you're a grappler, right? And you have to imagine, like, you're male, and you are probably the epitome of who they want to marry one day, right? It's like an attractive, talented grappler. It's like, who wouldn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they want. But like, relationships are also hard once you're, you know, in the jiu-jitsu relationships. But how would you then say, what would be the most appropriate way to have what would you be most receptive to for somebody who is interested in you? How would you want to be approached? Like, how would that situation go, so people know what is the appropriate way, what might be something that's attractive compared to the thing that's repulsive that you've been receiving?
Oh, I'm the last person you should be asking this question. Because if a guy DMs me with the intent or approaches me with the intent to start a relationship or start like going down that path, I'm gonna be like, fuck no, dude, like, not a chance. Like, I don't do the whole online, like, I live across the country, I'm gonna DM her and hope that I could fly her out, she'll come see me. Like, I've done long distance relationships, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, some stranger DMing me with the intent of getting me to want to hang out with them or want to like them, I feel like
Yeah.
that's just, you know, I just think that's gross. I think if I meet somebody in person and they're really cool and I really like vibe with them and stuff, that's different. But I'm too afraid of getting kidnapped.
No. I would agree. I guess I should have specified, like, in the gym. You know, like, there, and what I mean is, like, there's people right now who are in a gym, they're in a little community. They probably have been like noticing that this girl, you know, has been training for a while. They're around the same age. How should he go and approach that girl? You know what I mean? But without being creepy, because it feels like no matter what you would do in that situation, it would be creepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna still say this. I'm really the wrong person to ask because if some guy were to approach me in the gym, like, I have a no teammate rule at all. Like, if we train in the
That's a
same
good
gym,
rule.
hell no. Yeah, there's not a chance. But I travel a lot. You know, I meet a lot of people. Like, if somebody, I guess, while I was traveling, were to be like, hey, you know what? Like, did you want to go out and like maybe go on a date or something? I feel like that would be appropriate. But I would need somebody to kind of preface this, like, please don't feel like I'm being weird, but you know, if you wanted to, I would love to take you out on a date. And if they're not like super strange about it, like, I don't know, if somebody's just like shuffling their feet, like coming up to me like, do you want to go out with me? I'd be like, hell no, get away from me. Um, but if somebody's cool about it, and I'd have to, like, you know, get to know them a little bit first. If it was just like out of the blue, like I don't know somebody, I never rolled with them or anything like that, and they asked me, I'd be like, no, get the fuck out of here. Sorry, my Chicago comes out a little bit, so you'll hear my accent a little bit. But
No, I would agree that I think, and that's pretty baseline, I guess, for most humans, right? But I was talking
yeah,
about just and which is going to segue into the next segment, and it's the lack of success of jujitsu relationships. Like
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it
oh,
ruins. It's like a breakup in a gym is like a cancer a lot of the
yes.
times. And so I don't necessarily have a no dating a teammate rule, but I also am very like, you realize that if this happens, there's a lot that could go wrong. It's a high risk, you know what I mean, scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've all heard the term "don't shit where you eat." I'm big on that. You know, I've done just that before and had an awful experience, and I don't wish that on anybody. But you know, I feel like in the sport, especially like when you're like a blue or white belt, like it's so easy to get involved with people you're hanging out with, people you're training with. But as you hit those higher ranks, like I just feel like it's so much more difficult to not only find a relationship but like be okay with it too. Like for instance, I had dated a guy who was amazing. Now let's look at it this way, right? Like there's a lot of power dynamics. Whether you have like a black belt female and you have like a lower belt male, or whether you have like a black belt male and a lower belt female, or really any belt mixture, there can still be that power dynamic, right? Like jiu-jitsu, you have some gyms that you line up by rank and it's like, wow, they are so much more respected, they're so much more like sought after, or XYZ. People look at you different based on the color of your belt in certain gyms. People in some gyms are expected to bow towards your black belts, right? Or they're expected to treat them differently or not ask them to roll, and that can create dilemmas if that dating world were to start to work its way into the gym. But anyway, what I was going to say is I had dated a guy. He was just a hobbyist purple belt, amazing athlete, but still just a hobbyist purple belt, doesn't like to compete or anything like that. And for me, being like a competitor who, like, I travel across the country and partly sometimes across the world to do this, it was really a great dynamic that we had. We didn't train at the same gym, but I was able to get great rounds with him. I was able to like try to beat the shit out of him in the nicest way possible, not feel bad about it. And sometimes it was like our therapy. It's like maybe we had a bad day, maybe we had an argument, and it's like even then we come back to jiu-jitsu and like I'm not trying to hurt you because the argument, like it's like I'm trying to train with you and get my frustration out and get my stress gone. And it was just very beneficial for us because we had a great dynamic. Yeah, I will say there was one person in particular when I was first coming up in the sport had told me, like, if you have two professional athletes dating each other, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work. It's like it very rarely works. And I'm still torn on how I feel about that, but I understand where he's coming from, especially if they train at different gyms. You have different schedules, you have different competitions, you have different times of weight cutting. And if you're the kind of person that relies so much on your significant other for motivation or for discipline, like it's gonna be a hard time because they're putting their self first too. And it can be a selfish sport. It can absolutely be a selfish sport. Because you have to be when you're a competitor sometimes, right? You can't give somebody else your 100% of the time when you need to give yourself 100%. So anyway, I just
No,
wanted to get
that
that
was
out there
good.
too.
That was good insight to that, because and I don't want to make this all about like dating and men trying to come after you, but I just know that you have a unique insight that I don't have, and you're willing to talk about it. So I wanted to take advantage of that dynamic. Did I lose you there for a
Yeah,
second? Right now, Katie is driving to Texas, so she might have some
I might have
spotty.
lost you again. Okay, now I should
Hey, I no, oh no. So yeah, she has some
should be
spotty
good.
service, maybe a little bit. All right, what was the last thing you heard me
Oh, what
say?
happened? Pause. Just that I had some insight that you didn't have is basically the last thing.
Oh yeah. So I didn't want to make this all about that, and I want you like, you have some incredible accolades. You've done something I've been wanting to do, which is card jujitsu. You know what I mean? And I want to
I've
talk
done some
about that
side
stuff.
fun.
What was it like doing the card jujitsu?
Oh my god, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I have a blast doing it, honestly. Like, it's just so different, right? Like, you know, if you can do jiu-jitsu in high stress situations, like in a car where somebody can literally get on top of you and wrap a seatbelt around your throat, you can thrive under somebody's mount pressure for 5 minutes. Like I'm not, it's 100%, but it doesn't isn't all there, but the possibility of being in a car with somebody attacking you, the chances are low, but they're not zero, right? So you could absolutely be in that situation where somebody's in a car trying to attack you or whatever, and you have to get out, you have to escape, or even maybe get a weapon away from them, or just anything, right? So car jiu-jitsu is actually really fun. And the whole seatbelt component of it, I love. Like, anytime I'm in a car, I'm always trying to wrap a seatbelt around somebody's throat.
Well, how did you train for it? Were you just getting in your car and getting friends in your car to train?
Yep. Yeah, so I
All
grabbed
right.
the white belts in the gym, and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And they're like, it looks pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, how do you feel about getting in my car with me right now? And we just try to kill each other. And they're like, down, so down. Like,
Could you see that dynamic? I feel like if you were a dude luring white belts like into your car
oh
to
yeah.
be like, "Hey, come into my car. We'll do these choking things." You know what I mean? It's such a weird dynamic that we have as as jujitsu grapplers. Like, hey, just instead of these nice mats, why don't you come in my car? And then people are probably watching you lure people to their car to choke them.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. And it's totally different too. Like, I can ask a guy to train with me for that, right? But a guy
Yeah.
asks a girl most of the time, unless it's like, you know, unless you have like that kind of friendship relationship, like it can be weird, right? It can be weird. Um, but you know, like the guys in my gym, like we all have that kind of dynamic where we're cool, we're homies. Like one of my friends, Jacob Baker, is he's one of the white belts at my gym, and he helped me train for it. And the dude is scrappy. I shit you not. Like, we rolled all the windows down because in car jitsu the windows are open, and he literally, like, hold on. If I'm in the driver's side and he's in the passenger side, he was whooping my ass one of the rounds, and he quite literally got his body out the front window, through the back window, and then started like choking me with the seatbelt. It was awesome. It was so awesome. I would honestly recommend it to anybody who wants to give it a shot. If you guys hit up Karjitsu Instagram, like they might put you on. Who knows? If they have a need and you fill that spot, that weight that they're looking for, it's worth a shot. So tell them KDB sent you.
All right, I'll tell them. I'll say KDB Bohanek. I'll tell them. I'm so excited. I think I will try. I've been wanting to do it. I didn't really consider how to get involved with it, but I'm going to send him a message right after this.
Yeah,
I'm
dude, he's
pumped.
awesome. Yeah, it was so much fun. I've done it, oh gosh, once in Branson, Missouri, and then the other time, I don't know if you know Twitch streamers, I sure as shit didn't, but there's one really famous one his name's Kai Sanat. Um, and we did Karjitsu in front of his mansion in Beverly Hills in LA, right next to P. Diddy's mansion. Crazy.
All right.
Very shortly after he was busted.
Damn, that's very sure.
Yeah.
That's all right. So that's a lot there.
Yeah.
But you, I mean, let's talk about your accolades real quick. So not only car jitsu, but where have you competed? What has been the competitions that you've been most proud of winning and most proud of being involved with?
Oh, that is such a hard question. I feel like I don't remember my own. I remember like when other people win and I get to be like mat side and watch them and cheer them on. So like my brain will automatically go to like Ali Walski's win, like against this person at ADCC trials, like 2 years, year and a half ago, like, or when she faced Jasmine Hocha, like, and she lost, but she had a great match. Like that, it goes to my friends. It doesn't go to me. So, you know, I competed in combat December in Cancun. That was amazing experience across the board. I loved it. I had so much fun. Going into a comp where not only can I like compete jiu-jitsu, but I can also get hit in the fucking face. So I was definitely way too calm going into it, but I made the semifinals. I ended up losing to the girl that won the whole bracket. But nonetheless, it was an amazing experience. I would absolutely do combat jiu-jitsu again. Another one of my favorites as far as accolades go is, I can't remember if it was 2023. I think it was 2023 or 2024. I won East Coast, or not won, gosh, I didn't win. I got into the final 16 of East Coast trial, having a month ER like 4 times that whole month. And I just remember like an anaphylactic reaction where my throat closed up to the antibiotics they put me on. So I was in the ER, and I just remember waking up to the doctor coming in, the light flipping on, and I was an hour away from my gym. I live an hour away. I was at an ER very far from my gym. And the doctor comes in at like 3 a.m., flips the light on, comes in to see me, and he sees my water bottle sitting there, and I have a Daisy Fresh sticker. That's my Patago Submission Fighting Daisy Fresh, the gym I'm at. And he sees it, and he goes, "Oh, Daisy Fresh." I go, "How do you know what that is?" And he goes, "I used to train there." like I train there. And he goes, "Yeah, and you cannot train for another 3 weeks. You have staff. You need to take the time off." And I look at him, and I go, "I have ADCC trials in 10 days. And he goes, "You cannot train before trials." And I like shut my mouth and I nodded. It's like, "Okay, I won't train." It's like, "You cannot train." And he's a Bosnian guy too. So like when he says something, it hits. You're like, I got 100% of course. It was just, one of the funniest experiences where I was like, okay, I won't train. And I did it. So I was off for a long time prior to that. So to come through, make day 2, and end up losing to, I think I was like a fresh purple belt at the time. I ended up losing to Brittany Elkin, who was just, and I also didn't get to make my weight because I couldn't cut weight. I felt like such dog shit. I ended up doing the heaviest weight class, and I was probably the smallest girl in it, and ended up doing fairly well. So I'm pretty proud of that. That one was definitely like an underdog moment where I kind of came through despite the circumstances. But yeah, I mean, I have a ton of competitions I've done that I've loved. I always loved competing for finishers out of the East Coast. They always do a great job of putting on events. Midwest finishers, my home, my heart, up in Chicago. So I always have a great time on their cards as well. They're actually hosting a card in September. Would highly recommend any 205ers of the guys or any 145ers of the females. They're putting on cash brackets. So definitely check that out. Get out there. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Like some of my favorite comps.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. Did you do any IBJJF?
I did. You know what I haven't done much at purple. I've done, I think, like 2 opens. I can't remember if I did Panzer. I don't think I did Panzer. No, I did Worlds my first year at purple belt. And I competed at, oh my gosh, that's right. Sarah Swiatek is your student. I competed against her first round, and I used to do lightweight. I used to do 135. I'd cut down from 150 to 135 and compete at that at IBJJF. But I sit heavier now, and I was probably walking like 158. And I should have been like a medium heavy, but I was like, fuck it, I'll just go up to super heavy instead. I faced Sarah first round and lost. So that was the only major I've done at purple belt. So, and I ironically faced your student, which, let's talk about Sarah for a second. Oh my God, is she just the sweetest human being? I love her.
Yeah, I love Sarah. I just made a video for her yesterday. We were training, but yeah, she's one of the better female grapplers. I think she's super underrated because she's beaten world champions. She's beaten ADCC finalists, like medalists. Like, and she made it to day 2 at ADCC and lost in the last overtime. You know what I mean? To the girl who ended up medaling or getting. Did she get first? I can't remember if she got first, but anyway, it was just like, I think she doesn't advertise herself as well as like I wish she would brag more about her accolades. Like, we teach ourselves humility in the sport, but if you're gonna get the hype, like the promotions want the hype. You know what I mean? They want you to be able to be a little bit spunky, and Sarah's like just so authentic that I was like, no, girl, you need to be like mean. Like, you need to be out there. You need to present yourself. You need the promotion to look at your Instagram and be like, oh, I definitely want this person at my event, you know?
Oh, 100%. I just love her. It's funny that you said like she's very authentic because at the same time you were about to say authentic, I was like genuine. Like she's so genuine, and I was just and
She's
it's like
yeah.
describe her so well. She's so lovely.
Yeah. So yeah, Sarah, she's got a couple fights coming up, one this weekend, so I'm excited about that. And
Oh, is that the one against Tierra Lewis?
I think so, yeah.
Tierra also lovely. I'm so excited for that match. That's the one I literally have said that. I want them to face. I said that back when Sarah and I were on the whatever main character we were on together. I had said that back then. I want this match to happen. So I'd love to see that it's going down soon.
Yeah, the last time I was on main character, I was feeling so crappy. Something about the travel had gotten me, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to give it enough effort. So I ended up just taking the dude's nose so I could go out with a win in some way, shape, or form. But yeah.
That is still one of my favorite videos to this day.
Yeah.
Stealing the guy's nose and looking around. It's so funny.
But I think that's the last. I think that was the last main character event that we all of us were at. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I think so.
I've been so he's been trying to get me a fight for September 6th, and no one wants to fight me. No one. He even put up a video of me stealing the nose saying, who wants to avenge this guy? Like, who wants to fight Chad? And yeah, still nobody. And then I told him to make a David versus Goliath fight. Like, have me face like a 265 pounder.
I would love to see that. Holy
I
shit,
want to do that. But no one said yes, apparently. So maybe I won't have a fight. But I've been trying to redeem myself on main character.
Yeah.
Because what
nobody knows safe.
Yeah, no one knows is safe because no one submitted or did anything. They gave the decision to the other guy. So I want to get back in there, win a match, and redeem myself. But anyway, yeah, I think you and I and Sarah were all at that where we all like kind of like met and hung out for the first time. So that's a little bit ago. So anyway, do you have any promotions that are coming up that you either want to tell people about, that you're excited about, that you're training for, and that maybe that you're even nervous for?
As far as nerves go, I really don't get them. Like I feel like, humble brag, I feel like I don't really get nervous for competitions. Like, you know, like a few days before I'll get like the competition jitters where I'm like, okay, I just want to get this over with. And then the day of, I'm like, let's fucking go. Like, it's game time. You know, being that I come from a sport where, yeah, like powerlifting, like all eyes are on you. You're the only person on that stage lifting at a time. I feel like I learned how to shake off the nerves pretty early in my competitive career. So, as far as that goes, like, it doesn't matter who's in front of me. It just matters what I'm putting out that day. And competitions I've got coming up, you know, I just competed this weekend, this past Saturday, on BJJ World Championship, which was amazing, absolutely amazing card across the board. So many high-level athletes, so many finishes. It was a women's absolute bracket. I had a blast. I ended up making the finals against Taylor Highshaw. She ended up submitting me the finals, but great bracket across the board. And things I have coming up, I have a match on the PGF finale stage, which I'm really excited for.
Way.
Yeah, so I will be on that. I'll have a title match. It'll be for the 145 title, which, if you know me, I'm not a 145er anymore, so I'll be cutting about 20 pounds for that match. But, you know, I've done worse, so it's not something I'm too terribly worried about. And then I also have in October, I will be competing in Arkansas on Enigma. I have a title match for the 155 title. Very excited for that. It's honestly a pretty big year, so I got a lot coming down the pipe, but you know, it's nothing I can't handle, and nothing that's no opportunity is too big.
But yeah, that's good. I love that. I was just thinking as you were talking about that, like how we all started so new, and at one point, Allie, you know what I mean? I was just thinking about, I knew her when she first got started, and she was training here in Colorado.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I was telling her today too. I was like, I'm going to be on a podcast today. And she's like, oh, who? I was like, you know. I was like, Chad. I was like, I'm going to be on a podcast. And she's like, oh my God. She's so excited. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I was asking that is like, you develop a lot of friendships as you go through and this jiu-jitsu, and you meet people all over the world. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm traveling here and I happen to know somebody here, so I'm going to go train with them, or this, that, and the other thing. You know what I mean? How did your friendship with Allie start and bloom?
Oh my gosh. We met it feels like it's been ages, but it really hasn't been. Maybe 2.5 years ago. It really hasn't been that long. We were talking about that yesterday too. So we basically met because I went to B Team to visit, check it out, and see kind of what it was about. I loved it. I had a great time, and I just met her there, and she was super cool. And we just chatted, and she's like, "Yeah, anytime you come through, like." Like kindness, somebody I rolled with one time. It was like, yeah, come stay at my house. Of course you could stay. Like that way you don't have to pay for a hotel. I thought that was crazy. And I'm from the Midwest. We have like the Midwest kindness, which is weirder. But so she ended up doing Midwest finishers a few months later because I reached out to her and hit her up and told her about the event. So she came out to Chicago. She competed on Midwest finishers when I was working for them, and she did really good showing. She competed. She had no idea who it was. It was Claire North, who is a fucking monster, by the way. Amazing person and amazing jiu-jitsu. She's a black belt and has been for quite some time. So Allie ended up getting. She had a good showing and got submitted by her. And after I was like, yeah, Claire's been like, she's an amazing black belt. She's like, oh shit, I had no idea. She's like, I don't know, she's a black belt. I don't know anything about her. And I'm like, yeah, she's really good. So take some pride in that. We just chatted there, and then she ended up going back to Austin that same night. And eventually I came out, visited, we hung out, we just like chit chatted forever, and then here we are now, like 2.5 years later. And I stay at her house whenever I'm in Austin. Like, she always has a place to stay with me. We've done a team event together. Hold on, I'm gonna circle back. You remember when you asked me what a great event was, like one that really like sticks out?
Yeah.
The team event, it was me, Allie Wolski, Taylor McDonald, and Kate Murdoch. And we competed in Chicago, so kind of home turf for me. We competed out there on a team event. And, you know, there was a team that we had a little beef with going in because they had gotten some weight allowances when the rest of us had to cut weight. And we were like, what the fuck? You guys got a 5-pound allowance? We didn't get that. So the rest of us were pretty peeved. And I brought it up at the rules meeting. I was like, hey, so why was there a team that got a 5-pound allowance? You know, if that's the truth, like we all cut weight, we all made weight. But just because they traveled further, you gave them an allowance, like that's not okay. If you're gonna do that, do it for everybody. There's money on the line. So if they win, what are we gonna do about it? Because they didn't earn it like the rest of us did. And there was some beef all like the whole time, and we ended up facing that team in the finals. Now, I can't remember. I went out second. So our first girl got taken out. She got subbed, and I was probably like $155, maybe I was probably like closer to 150 that day. And I faced Marcina. I don't know her last name, but she's a sweetheart. She's a Colorado girl too, from what I remember.
Yeah, I know Marcina.
Ended up facing Marcina, and I finished like a buzzer beater armbar on her, and like it was a 10-minute match or something. So it was 10 minutes. I had taken her down. I had kind of like worked her, and then the last like 5 seconds, I had armbarred her. And if you win, you stay in. But if there's no submission, it goes. You guys both get out, and it goes on to the next person. Typical quintet rules. So I had beat her, and then it had gone to the next person. I don't know her name. I know she's a black belt from Las Vegas, I think. I don't know her, but I ended up subbing her too. Same way, I went via armbar. And then our next person was, Allie was our next person, but she had her Who's Number One match like 2 weeks from then. So she's like, I'll do it, but like I am nervous to get injured. So we're like, perfect, we'll put you at the end. Or well, we'll put you second to last, because our girl Kate, our black belt Kate, she had taken out the entire first team. None of us competed. Kate took out 5 people on her own. And
Wow.
then we were like, all right, put Kate at the end. Allie will be second to last. So I took out 2 of the athletes and on the other team, and then I ended up getting submitted by one of the girls. I was so fucking gassed. And then Allie went against her, submitted her via Choi Bar, and then Allie went against their last girl, Stephanie Klein, who they had trained together when they were out in Colorado. And Allie ended up Choi Barring her and winning for our team. She brought it home. Granted, we still had Kate, but we didn't want to have to get there. Allie ended up winning the event, and right away, like there's just this great video of her running right over to me and just jumping into my arms. It was one of the best moments I've ever had, like watching. It was like watching her avenge me because she submitted people that submitted me, and then brought it home against Steph in the final match. So it was really an amazing event.
Yeah, I could tell. Like it's really cool to be able to watch somebody from literally starting like their first few days all the way to winning these competitions. And I might ask Allie to come on the show at some point. But my wife, when faced Allie, when I think Allie was a white belt, and yeah, so
I
my wife
love
got her in.
that.
Yeah, my wife got her in a choke and submitted her. And I was like, hold on to that and talk shit once she's like the big world champ. Because I could tell like she was going place. Like I could tell she took it seriously. I was like, if Allie continues
Yeah.
to take that as seriously as she is, you know what I mean? Like she's gonna go places. And sure enough, she's already doing that. But anyway, it's just cool to watch somebody from the beginning and make it to where she is now and watching. I you know, there's a handful of people now where I could be like, I watched them when they were a baby white belt. Now look what they're doing. You know, so it's cool that you're friends with her because I like Allie. I trust her as I don't know her that well, but like I would trust her. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
people are like, I don't know where to train. I'm nervous about like, oh, go with Allie. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like she would take care of like anyway, I don't know why I'm getting with that. So anyway, it's cool that you guys are friends. And so that kind of I started, you know, on social media and we met in person. I started following you. I saw you guys become friends. I thought that was really unique because the community is a lot more tight knit than what we realize. And I think that's probably why it's so much drama, is because how close we all become.
Yeah, honestly. And a lot of people are ride or die, and I'm one of those people too. But like, if somebody if somebody talks shit about somebody I'm close with, I'm coming for your throat, you know? Like if somebody starts to say anything crazy about people I train with that I really care for or anything, I'm like, now you have a fucking problem. Like say whatever you want about me, I don't give a shit. But the second somebody like even leaves like a rude comment on Allie's post, I will absolutely be in the comments like, fuck you. No, I won't say like, I won't probably swears and stuff, but I sure as shit will give them, I'll roast them usually is what happens.
Right? Yeah,
Usually
go on
don't
their
come.
page, find some embarrassing stuff. Like this is the one who's talking smack.
Exactly. Yeah. Or if it's a burner account, like I don't know, it's just I protect the ones I care about.
Good. I like that. Yeah, but jujitsu is really close. Now, talking about Daisy Fresh, so like you know, they were like this up and comer that came out of nowhere, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so like right now, for example, I took myself off of social media for quite some time. I'm just getting back into it. I'm getting back into
Mhm.
making videos and podcasting. But like I remember I would I tried to befriend Jacob Couch, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
from way back in the day. And I would go up and I would interview him. And then it got to the point where he was like, each time we would see each other in competition, we make a point to talk for a little bit. But and I'm just bringing up like drama and things like that. I know that
Mhm.
he just recently had a breakup.
Mhm.
And the guy that she is dating is now here where I'm training, like not at my gym, but like here in my city and stuff. And it's
Mhm.
just, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but it just goes to show like how the friendships and the drama and the closeness and we're all intertwined with one another. So it just doesn't make sense to me to like be going on there and talking smack. It's like the likelihood that we're all part of the same, you know what I mean? Like when I see people talk smack,
Yeah.
like if I see people talking smack, even like if I'm on your page, the stuff that you're posting, where it's like, why would they say that to her? You know what I mean? Like, why would they say that? We're all connected. I feel like you're bringing on a lot more. I don't think you realize the flack that you're going to get when you talk smack about someone because they got armies behind them.
Yeah. Especially in this sport too. Like, you know, a lot of us we stick together, right? Like we have each other's back, and there's some things that I don't support, and I'm not like gonna tear somebody up online for certain people or if there's certain instances, but I think anytime there's a breakup, especially like I want no part of it. Um, you know, people do and say horrible things when it comes to emotions, and that's something like if it's emotions about jiu-jitsu, like that's stupid. Why are we going to be mad about jiu-jitsu, right? Like it's a niche sport that doesn't
Right.
matter at the end of the day. Um, in your regular life, like your jiu-jitsu life is your jiu-jitsu life. Like yes, you can be passionate about it, you can care about it, you can chase it with your whole heart. But to be upset that like I don't know, you had a loss or that like I don't know, like being upset about jiu-jitsu and like taking it out on other people's not okay. As far as relationships go, I stayed far away from that. Uh, it's not, those kind of things are not my story to tell. Everybody breaks up for a reason or stays together for a reason. So, we say and do horrible things when it comes to love, or we say and do the kindest things when it comes to love. And I want no part of being between two people who have emotions for each other like that. So as far as that goes, it's not my story to tell.
No, not.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
I was just saying you don't know like who knows who. It's
Yeah.
insane. That's all I'm saying is like to get involved. It's like the drama and the connection has literally like spanned the country. You know what I mean? Like we all know each other in one way, shape, or form. And so for you, like I was just saying, like exactly what you're saying. I guess you put it the best. Why add emotion into it? And it's anyway. I just see that online, and I try to stay out of it. But I love. I shouldn't say love watching it, but I'm just like, oh, I didn't even know that was going on. Oh my god, I didn't even know that was going on. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I better not say anything about anybody because I don't know who I'm going to piss off or who they're connected to or who they were dating or what. I'm like just completely lost in the sauce. Like I know that there was an affair. Oh my god, is her name like Daniel Kelly? I can't remember. There's a brunette black belt. But anyway, she was sleeping with some guy, and it turned out this girl that I went to middle school and part of high school with, who had moved away. She was on the wrestling team, and she's gotten started in jiu-jitsu. That was her husband. I was like, oh my god, we're like all connected. Yeah, like it's. Wow. I guess what I'm saying is like, guys, be careful if you're going to be emotional and you're going to be talking stuff. You have no idea who people know, how they're connected, and who they bring with them. And so it's just like, stay in your lane, love the sport, and stay with it for the sport. Don't stay with it for the drama.
Yeah, no, I agree on that. That's some crazy stuff too. Like again, don't shit where you eat. Don't shit where you eat. Stay away from people who have wives, husbands, girlfriends, boyfriends. Like, stay the fuck away.
Yeah.
Man, I just don't. I don't get it. But whatever.
My like being the owner of a gym and being the guy in charge, and then having a wife, like my wife became very like defensive of me in certain things, and I was like everything's fine, but then you start to see, you're like, oh man, yeah, I can see what the jiu-jitsu world brings about. I wish people didn't. I wish they, for example, like if you go into a CrossFit gym, I feel like that stuff wouldn't happen that way in a CrossFit gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
I feel like if you lost to somebody in a CrossFit gym, it wouldn't bring the drama it does. I feel like people wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe that's just me though.
Right, and I feel like in jiu-jitsu, it's easier to be disrespectful to somebody. Because I feel like certain people have a very low threshold of what's disrespectful. Like, you don't shake somebody's hand, well, now you're a piece of shit and everybody hates you. Like, there's just such a low threshold for that because we put so much, not we, but like certain gyms put so much emphasis on, you will respect me in every capacity. I'm a black belt. I have put in the time. You will call me professor. You will bow to me. You will face away when you tie your belt. You will run laps if you're late. Like, it's crazy the amount of things we have to do as paying adults to maintain a membership at some gym. Complete opposite. I don't book anybody on the mat. I think it's weird when people say os when you're rolling. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I've been training 6 years. Like, why? Just say, hey, good round, or hey, thank you. Like, use your words. Why are we making a noise? Like, especially when white people do it. I'm like, you're not Brazilian. Cut that shit out.
It's actually a Japanese thing. It's not a Brazilian thing.
Oh, see, I don't even know. I told you I didn't know.
Yeah, so like in Japan, it was actually like back when they were starting, like in karate, some of the people in Japan still, os, And it's just anyway, it's the lineage, but I get what you're saying. And like we don't do any of that stuff at our gym, like the bowing and all that jazz. It didn't make sense to me. But what did make sense to me is when I went to Brazil, I finally have you trained in Brazil?
No, I've never been.
Yeah, I suggest it. I strongly suggest it. But anyway, I see why the culture is the way it is about making the black belt like a demigod and putting him up there, because the black belt is your pathway out of Brazil. And that's why I started to learn.
Oh.
It was like, because there's no money in Brazil. And so it's like, I want to go do this competition so that way, like, I could get a visa to go to the United States. And they're like, why am I going to give you the funding to go to this tournament? You don't even try hard in practice. You know what I mean? And so your professor becomes your network, your connection for tournaments, for funding, for visas, the guy who knows everything. And so he becomes so powerful in that little area. And so it's very much, and when you come to the United States, it's the opposite. You're like opening a business and you're like, please sign up so I can feed my kids. You know, it's like a completely different dynamic.
Yeah.
But I could see why that a little bit of that bled over to the United States. You know what I mean? Because the Brazilians were still trying to maintain that culture. I think that Americans now, there's so many American black belts opening up their gyms. I see why the culture has shifted again to like this American jiu-jitsu style, where it's just like wrestling and a bunch of goofballs. You know, the Brazilians, they're all about respect and, you know what I mean, honor and all this stuff. And you get all these Americans now who are just like making fun of it, keep jiu-jitsu gay. Like we completely flipped it on its head.
Yeah.
I know that was sorry. That was a lot of talking for me.
I had no idea. No, you're good. I love that. Like, see, that's the kind of stuff like I never knew. You know, like as far as like lineage of the sport goes, like I have a very poor understanding from it. Like, people will talk about like the Gracies and stuff, and I'll be like, who? They're like, you don't know who the XYZ Gracie is? I'm like, I have no idea. The only one I know is Hoytler, and that's because he faced Eddie Bravo in the 90s or like early 2000s. Like, that is the only one I could name. I have no understanding of any of the other Gracies. Like, if they're not competing nogi nowadays, I don't give a shit. People can be mad about that all they want. I don't care.
I'm irritated I got to the no-gi scene so late because all my professors were like traditional old-fashioned gi guys, gi. And so I didn't get until my later brown belt days did I even start like becoming somewhat proficient in no-gi. So I had to catch up to all you guys. I felt like the new kid on the block.
The new kid on the block.
All right, real quick. So this was a great conversation, and I love the flow of it. So I want to ask a few more things. All right, Katie, you don't have to reveal your secrets, but what is your favorite go-to submission? You feel like you're losing the match. I better not be going with experimentation. What's the go-to move for Katie?
Leg locks. I can't help it. I used to be a really big knee bar girl. It just depends on kind of what they do in reaction to when I jump on their legs. Like if they turn, I'm going heel hoof, but if they stay straight and try to back out, I'm going knee bar all day. Like I would like to think my legs are pretty strong, so when I'm in, but keep me up the legs fine.
All right. We just made a joke today at the gym. We were in lunch class. I said, if you're not good at jiu-jitsu, you could always learn legs. Oh, sorry, I lost you there for a second. Wait here just a second. All right. Get a little bit of movement. Are you with me? I think I lost the sound. No, it doesn't say you're muted. No. Oh, God.
Now.
Yes, I can hear you. Now? If you get in a car accident, yeah. If you get a car accident because of me and we catch it live, I'll feel like the worst person in the world.
No, we're good. I got cruise control on.
Good. So yeah, I was just So you're saying legs. So legs are your go-to. Oh dang! I just had another great question that I totally slipped. That I was gonna ask. Oh no! Oh no! This is bad. But yeah. So we were making jokes in the gym earlier today where I was like, "Hey, if you're not good at jujitsu, you could always become a leg locker." And we like just talk.
I love that. It's true. It's true. Guilty. Yeah, guilty.
Guilty as charged. Well, all right. You have any suggestions for
Guilty.
finishing knee bars?
I really like grabbing my bottom hand if, like, let's say we're in a 50-50 situation. My inside hand that's towards the inside of your legs, I like grabbing an Achilles grip. And I like almost going Mikey Lock style with it, trying to put their heel to my ear as much as I can. I really like grabbing the heel and hipping in that way. I like my lateral knee bars the most, I would say. But, like, I just feel like knee bars, like, if your leg lock entanglement doesn't go well, it's really easy to transition to a knee bar. I know a lot of people neglect that. And like, if you believe in it enough and you really don't want to come up, your knee bars are everywhere.
Yeah, that makes sense. How's your wrestling?
Oh, I'd like to think my wrestling's actually pretty good.
All right.
This weekend I wrestled, so CJI rules, it was 3 5-minute rounds. The entire first 5 minutes, except for the last like 30 seconds or so, I was up on the feet wrestling. The girl was a Puerto Rican national team wrestler, and I stayed up with her. I even took her down. Like, I'd like to think I'm solid wrestling. I'm not the sharpest wrestler. I'm gonna lose if you put me in a wrestling tournament, but like jiu-jitsu wise, I like to think I'm pretty stronger than most people up on the feet.
All right, yeah. I'm really stalling for time because I had a really, really good topic I wanted to talk to you about, and it's killing me that I just dropped it. I should have
Yeah.
written it down.
Was it about the power
But
slap match?
what was it about? What?
Oh, was it about
Which
the power
match?
slap match?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Power
Yes.
slap
That's something we definitely need to talk about for sure. So please. I know that it's not your story to tell about those other things. I'm glad that you respected everyone in there. I wasn't necessarily trying to pry. I was just kind of trying to grasp your opinion about it. But this is your story to tell. Can you please dive into the drama of that power slap match?
Oh my God. Where do I even start? That girl is something else, first and foremost. For those wondering, like, kind of how it started, basically she started running her mouth about a teammate of mine who, like, she was crazy, man. Like, she literally, like, trapped that teammate who, like, moved into his house without his permission, like, trapped him in rooms and, like, would say, like, I need to talk to you, and, like, wouldn't let him get out, would, like, make him generally really uncomfortable, and then claimed some horrible things about him that weren't true at all. And it was really sickening, and it was really disgusting. And, there's reports from several other gym owners saying that when somebody doesn't want to sleep with her, she'll try to claim awful things. She'll try to claim emotional abuse or whatever when people are like, no, I don't want to sleep with you. And it's just crazy to me that, like, she just doesn't get her way, so she tries to sabotage other people. And it really is sickening. And the girl is really genuinely mentally ill. On top of that, she eats roadkill, so I can't expect her to be the sharpest tack in the box. But also, maybe she'll come train at your gym soon because she is in Colorado, so have fun with that, Chad. But I had gotten reports from many, many other gyms saying that they've had to kick her out for crazy reasons. She's also been arrested multiple times for violence, throwing Molotov cocktails at police, and then online she would try to pretend like it wasn't what it was. She would try to say, oh, we were peacefully protesting the death of a friend, and like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, awful things, but if your friend dies, I'm so sorry, that's awful, but you know what you don't get to do? Claim a violent protest where your friends are shooting at police and you are throwing Molotov cocktails at police. You don't get to say that's peaceful. And it's written in an article, the people who were shooting at police were arrested. She was arrested for throwing Molotov cocktails. It was just a crazy thing for her to try to downplay like that, to try to gain sympathy. She also faked Tourette's, which is, again, crazy thing to fake. again, to gain sympathy. So some people are genuinely mentally ill, but despite that fact, you don't get to try to go around and say awful things about good people. You don't get to try to tarnish people's reputations just because you didn't get what you wanted from them, you know? So I put her on blast for that. She had also shoved a friend of mine at an event because she was simply friends with this guy, and she basically had lied to people around the country saying that her and, let's just say the guy's name was Tim, the crazy girl claimed she was dating Tim when she never was, and tried to tell that girl that was simply friends with Tim, hey, get away from him, we're together, you can't be friends with him. And she's like, okay, first of all, no, you're not. Second of all, I'm not trying to get with him. Third of all, he can have friends, I can have friends. I'm not gonna play this game with you. And crazy bitch had shoved my friend at a tournament, and then when my friend shoved her back, she had claimed that she was physically assaulted. So I just don't vibe well with people who try to claim and ruin other people when they're the one causing problems, have records of causing problems, and then try to say awful, untrue things about me. She tried to claim that I was sending people to her parents' house, which, by the way, she lived in Wisconsin and lived with her parents. She tried to claim I got her fired from a job, that I sent people to her parents' house, and just crazy, crazy things, which are just delusions of hers that she somehow projected onto me. So long and the short of it, that bitch is crazy. She ran her mouth. I stuck up for myself and my friends, said, no, that's not what we're doing here. And then she tried to say awful things about me online. And then I was like, put your money where your mouth is. If you really want to think you're on my level of jiu-jitsu, let's have a match. And then main character reached out to me and said, hey, how about if we're going to have this match, the winner gets to power slap the loser 3 times. And me, knowing that she sucks at jiu-jitsu, knowing that my training partners all beat the shit out of her, knowing that the white belts at my gym all beat the shit out of her, and knowing that she is delusional about where she is in this sport and how she ranks, I was like, let's fucking run it. And needless to say, we fucking ran it. I submitted the shit out of her, and I got to slap her stupid face. So she has brought up my name several times since. What she's doing is none of my business. People have told me where she's at, what she's doing, and how many gyms she's gotten kicked out of since for being crazy. So she can keep doing her thing. She can keep getting kicked out of gyms. I thankfully have the slightest inclination of jiu-jitsu, and I beat her because it wasn't very difficult. But here we are. Any questions?
Yeah, that was a great power wrap of what happened. Thank you so much, and the great power slap. I was so excited about that because there's actually something on the line. You know what I mean? A punishment was on the line for that one. And I think that created a huge engagement for the audience. But one
people hated it. People hated it.
But they watched. That's the thing. It's like people hate what they watch. Who is it? Who's that famous Rod Stewart? Is that his name? The famous radio guy, radio host? I can't remember. Whatever his name is, I'll think of it later. They found out that the people who loved him listened to him for this certain average amount of time. And they're like, well, what about the people that hated him? And they listened to him longer. Like, haters watch you more than anybody else. And that's something that I learned in the hard way as well. But so anyway, we all hated, like, if we all hated it, we all watched it still. And that's what mattered. 100%. So I did,
Whether you love me or hate me, I'm not going anywhere. So get used to it.
So get used to it. But that was, I had no idea that the drama went that far back. So thank you for enlightening us with all of that. And so I want to ask, do you have any questions for me? Or like, I know that you were the guest on the channel, but I was making you do all the talking. Do you have anything for me, or like, do you have any sort of things that you want insights to, or at all?
Yes. Have you ever had to kick anybody out of your gym?
Yes.
And were they being crazy?
No, just nothing crazy like that, actually. But it was just like, like you can't roll with women like that. Okay, we had that conversation. Okay, you can't talk to women like that. Okay, we have that conversation. And like just it was only one guy. It was the only one guy I've ever had to be like, hey, like you're making these people uncomfortable. And as much as I may like you or somebody else may like you, I know you have friends here. It's like you are overall being a detriment to the gym, and that's not what we want to see. And if you can't change your behavior, I would love to see you here. But like if you can't change your behavior, it's like something like my kids eat because I have members and they have my members have a certain expectation of how the gyms run. And my biggest thing that is keeping this gym the way as successful as it is the kids class of the women's program. And if you're making the women feel uncomfortable, they're going to leave, their kids are going to leave. Like, you know what I mean? And I can't have that. I've had already a handful of complaints. I don't want to hear another one. You know what I mean? And then so it was it was very cordial. It was like, hey, I got another one. He's like, I understand. I wasn't trying to be this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, sorry, man. Like, and he respected the decision. He went to like a 10th planet where it was like pretty much no kids program and a bunch of dudes, and he's thriving there. So we still hang out and we still roll by. I was just like, you are not good with women. Like, you're not good. You're like, I don't know what you're saying, what you're doing, or whatever. But that was the only thing. So it's been a really good run for me. I think I'm lucky because I'm out like in the country a little bit more. Like I'm at the verge of civilization and where all the ranches start. And so we get a lot of ranch people.
Yeah.
We get, I mean, military and ranch people. So I think it's people who still spank their kids. And so all the kids are respectful, people who have good discipline. Yeah.
That's not what I was expecting you to say.
Sorry.
That is so funny.
I hate like I've been all around the world coaching and doing seminars and stuff. It's very clear the communities you go to where the kids aren't spanked. It's like, oh my God, you talk to adults that way. My kids, they come in usually like sharp. You know what I mean? And I think it's because it's the military and the ranch. But anyway, do you have any other questions?
No, I love that. And honestly, thank you for keeping the community safe, like especially making women comfortable and everything. The fact that you can have a cordial conversation with somebody when you're saying, hey, you can't keep doing that. I'm not going to allow this to happen again. How often does that happen where somebody's like, somebody's real about it and it's like, you just can't be here. Like, I don't hate you, but get your shit together somewhere else because you can't be here. So I love to hear that, dude. That's fucking awesome. Like, kudos to you for taking care of your members, looking out and cultivating the energy and what's allowed in your room. Like, it goes to show it for the next guy, right? Like, everybody's nice, everybody's cordial, like, everybody's respectful, and that's incredible. Like, the energy in a gym shows more about the owner than it does the members,
Yeah. So thank you. I appreciate it's the member space. They're paying for that. You know what I mean? So if I can't hold that, then why would they pay to be at my gym? You know what I mean? So it's a very interesting concept. It's a very stressful concept too. Owning a gym is a very stressful dynamic because like one person being not a good person creates a cancer that people don't want to be at. And they're very protective over their space too. So, but most of the time it's like, that was a beautiful thing about my gym is I have very little complaints comparatively from what I hear, like very, very little complaints. And so to get even more than a couple on one guy, I'm like, I know there's something wrong. And then it's a common denominator. But most of the time it's like, God, I can't roll with so-and-so because every time he hurts me. And I go talk to him. I'm like, yo, you can't be throwing your weight around on females. It just doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, my bad. I didn't even know that. And then it's fixed. But it's fixed like right there. Like that was that. And then they roll fine with females for the rest of ever because someone just had to say it to them. But so that's usually the case is most people are cool. But I know that there's gyms where people are just maybe mentally not all there. And like I said, like we're such an opening community that you're going to get all walks of life and you're going to get mentally unstable people who walk in and you want to give them a chance because you want them to feel welcome at your gym. And then it turns out to be a problem. You know what I mean? So that's, and by the way, that girl, what was that you power slapped? What was her rank?
So funny you ask. Hold on. I'm busting into a little bit of traffic here. So she was granted a purple belt by an ex-boyfriend who, by the way, asked me to be on his podcast. So I did a podcast with him before that power slap match. And he asked me to be on because he is like, I just want to get both sides of the beef. I know that she's crazy. I had to kick her out of my own gym. She begged me for a purple belt. I gave it to her, and it is the worst decision I've ever made. She's not a purple belt. She would get whooped by our white belts and then get mad and make an excuse and say, oh, you know, I just was letting you work, or I was doing this. And it was just crazy things that she was doing, like the most cringy things you could possibly do. So was she a real purple belt? Is she a real purple belt? Absolutely not. And the person who gave it to her absolutely regrets it and wishes he could take it back. So, but unfortunately, she is technically ranked as a purple belt.
Okay, I see. Did she have any accolades?
No, she was on like a 13+ match losing streak when I faced her, and for some reason thought she had what it took to beat me. She's so delusional in that aspect that she literally was saying like, oh, Katie doesn't do ADCC Opens because she's scared of losing. I'm like, no, I don't do ADCC Opens because I have a job. Like, I just haven't had the opportunity to travel and compete at those when I have opportunities to compete in brackets for money, or I have people offering me money for super fights. I just don't feel the need to call off to work to do an ADCC Open. And then she would say, well, I'm an ADCC Open medalist. And it's like, okay, you medaled in an intermediate division with 3 people. I don't envy you. I don't look up to you. And she tried to shit on me for that. And I was like, okay, where were you at trials? Oh, you didn't do it? Oh, did you ever make day 2? Certainly didn't think so. Where were you at Medusa? Oh, you weren't on? Probably because you weren't good enough to be on. So it was just like a lot of things where I was like, where are you showing up to the events that I'm being asked to do? You're not on them because you're not that level. So, yes, she has no accolades. She won a recent match that somebody told me about. And good for her. You know what? I hope she gets her shit together. I hope she fixes her mental state. And I hope she doesn't continue being a problem and a cancer within this sport, because we don't deserve that. The women that she has to train with don't deserve that. The people that she has to interact with at the gyms that she shows up at expecting to be welcomed with open arms, they don't deserve that either. So anyway, any other questions for me?
Yeah, I do. And this was a perfect wrap up. And yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up. The freaking power slap. I almost like, thank you. But
Felt good to get
full
out.
circle. Yeah, full circle. Yeah. Oh yeah. Tell us. I know you've already said this before, but how did those slaps feel? What did it feel like? Was it so powerful in your hand? I can't believe she stayed up on her feet, but I've never gotten to smack someone who didn't get to move. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right? And honestly, that goes to show you I'm down for whatever rule set, right? Like, I don't give a shit. It's jiu-jitsu, I'm in. Whether it's combat jiu-jitsu, whether it's power slaps, like whether it is card jitsu or whatever, like I will do it all. But it honestly was really a crazy feeling to hit somebody that hard. And like, I really
3 times.
3 times, which is crazy. So hold on, side note. So she's not very smart. She is not a very bright individual. When the promoter for main character put the 3 of us in a group chat, it was me, him, and her, and said, hey, these are the rules, no shit talking in here, both of you said you're down, let's run it, let's make sure we agree. And she goes in the chat and says, you know, I just feel like 3 power slaps is a little harsh. I propose 1. And I came back and I said, I propose 5. I was fucking around. I was just like, yeah, fuck you, like, this is funny. And then she came back and she's like, I mean, I guess we could do 5 if we really needed to. I was like, oh, I was fucking with you. You're an idiot. Why would you agree to that? It's stupid. You know you're gonna lose.
You know you're gonna lose. That's funny. Okay, so yeah, dude, it's so cool to hear all the background of all that. I love it. So to bring it full circle, like I was saying, what I'd ask every female grappler this: what would your suggestion be for women who are thinking about getting involved or who just got started, and what the jiu-jitsu field and the prospects could be for a female in the sport?
As far as like somebody who's first starting out, like trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it's because it is. Make your voice known. Don't be afraid to take up space. Speak your mind. And if there's a problem, report it to your coach. If your coach doesn't have your back, get the fuck out, find a new coach. I really think it's important that we emphasize that for females entering this sport, because it can be, in certain places, it can be a toxic gym. And I feel like when you first enter the sport, it's weird as it is, right? Why are we rolling around on the floor with other people, sweating in gross, hot environments? But we are, right? So I just feel like it's important to not normalize the bad parts, like not normalize somebody talking to you inappropriately, not normalize somebody making you feel uncomfortable. Like if you, and for anybody that's been in the sport, that's a veteran, that is a teammate, like if you see something, say something. If something looks off to you, if somebody's treating somebody questionably, or you hear them say like a disgusting remark about somebody, you tell your coach immediately. And honestly, if I heard something, and I won't ever have this problem at my gym, I won't ever have this problem with the people I train with. If I heard somebody say something about a teammate that I didn't agree with, I would tell my coach, and I would tell that teammate, be like, hey, just so you know, this person said XYZ about you. I want you to know. Just so they're aware of that person being probably not the best kind of person, or just so they're, you know, they know that something's wrong. Like, because I don't want to be the person that normalizes bad things. I don't want anybody to get brushed off or, you know, have a bad experience, because again, there are shitty people in this world, whether it's in jiu-jitsu or outside of jiu-jitsu, they're around. So if we could just protect each other, keep an eye out, keep an ear out, and keep each other welcome, safe, and heard, I think we can do a lot of justice for this sport and have a bright future with, especially the female aspect of it. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen to men, because it does, but what's our highest population, our most at-risk population in this sport? It's going to be your female athletes, especially your female lower belts, your white and blues. So ladies, protect each other. Guys, protect the ladies. Like, do what you can, do your part, and be a part of the solution, not the problem.
I agree. I think women in the sport is a great addition, great asset. And to be honest, if the sport was like 50% women and 50% men, I think it would be a lot more accepted by like the general community, because people just view it as a men's sport right now. But I think, like, for example, my daughters have to do jujitsu, and like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And some people are like, that's a little bit rough. I'm like, no. I was like, my kids, they have to know math. They have to learn how to read and write. They have to eat healthy, and they have to learn how to defend themselves. I'm like, I'm not putting my kids out in the world not knowing, like, oh, I hope somebody doesn't attack them because they, you know, like, no, like, of course, I hope somebody doesn't attack them, but I know, like, they have a much, predators go after the weak ones. And if my kids are walking around, you know what I mean? Like, and they get into some sort of altercation where my kid is not my daughter's not the easy one to go after, they're not going to be the one that's going to get taken. You know what I mean? So anyway, I think women being able to defend themselves is a super high priority in the world. And unfortunately, and when I look back at the Spartans, they used to force their women to wrestle. They used to force their women to know how to fight, and because they believed that it would birth more badass kids, and that's probably true. But also just having the whole family who they know how to protect one another and protect themselves, I think is super important. So, and that's all to say, I think women in the sport is one of the most vital things that we could have, and we need to be an environment that nurtures that. And so thank you so much for being one of the I don't think you realize this, but I think you are one of the people who are leading that charge of like the fight back, just by screenshotting and posting. Because I've seen lots of people, unfortunately, I know that, and I don't want to be like named there. There's been female grapplers, very popular female grapplers, that certain sexual encounters have been exposed, but they've talked about it, but they haven't really like. It's everybody has their own way of battling it and fighting back against it. But I love the fact that you're just putting them on blast. You're like, this is not 100%. Okay, putting it on blast. And I love that you're proactive about that. Not to say that other people haven't, but and that's their choice, because it's like what's happened to them is very personal. So I'm not trying to say that at all. So I just love that there are women out there who has like led that charge. And I don't think it's a huge problem in jiu-jitsu. I don't think it's happening left and right. Like I don't know of any instances happening at my gym or anything like that, but still one is too much. And so for having people like you who have some sort of method of fighting back, and it's a perfect method because it's nonviolent, it's just the truth. And you have such by the way, 22,000 or how many followers you have, whatever it is, however many.
I don't really know. I think around 22,000, maybe close
something
to
like that. 23,000, whatever. But if you have 20,000 followers in this sport, it's a tight knit community. So that's like most people have heard of you or seen you. You know what I mean? And like I only have like, I think my best was like 13,000 or something, or 14, and I've like lost some since. But anyway, even then, people were coming up to me all the time being like, I love your videos. So you at 20,000 is a lot. And so for you to be posting that and sending it, and for other people to be sharing it, you don't realize how much of an impact that would be. And I think that's a perfect way to fight back. I think you found the Achilles heel of like creeps.
Oh yeah, and seriously, thank you for acknowledging that too, because like, to me, it's just another thing I do. Like, it's funny too. Like, people are like, wow, there really are some pieces of shit in the world, and I like most of those messages objectively are hilarious. Somebody told me that I'd love to shit in your eyes. That's a crazy thing. That guy also threatened to kill me. So there are insane people out there. There is a mental health crisis. Yeah, it is what it is. He's probably in jail. I don't know. I don't live where I used to, so I'm okay. Good luck finding me. But there are a lot of crazy messages I get, and like there are some people who have the take like, oh, Katie's man hating, or like anything like that. And to those people that say I'm just like hating on men who are trying to open up a conversation, like that's not how you do it. That's not an acceptable form. Like, don't think of me as a piece of ass in the gym. I'm not a piece of me. I am an athlete. I'm there. Like, I have knowledge. I can teach. Like, you can learn something from anybody. Usually blue belt and up, but you can learn something from anybody, and to be demoted to just eye candy or whatever people want to look at me as is really disheartening sometimes. So when people look at me as the aspect of a man hater, that's not true. I just want to expose things and people for who they really are. And I had a comment recently, like on one of the videos I posted about shit people would DM me, and somebody commented like, oh, get this away from me, my steak's too juicy, like acting like I was complaining about, it really was like a dig, saying I was complaining about like being hit on. And like I hate being hit on, because that's not what I want. I'm not looking for that. Like, don't assume that's what I want, And people are out here just assuming like it's acceptable, it's warranted, and it should be welcomed instead of exposed. So to those guys, I say, fuck you, eat shit. Women in the sport aren't here to be, just your side piece. We're here to compete. We're here to be athletes. We're here to learn. We're here to learn self-defense a lot of times. We're here because something bad has happened to us a lot of times. There are a lot of women in this sport, myself included, who have found this sport because we've had something bad happen. Be respectful. Don't be a piece of shit. Let women do their thing, If you open up a conversation with somebody and it goes well for you and you guys have a relationship, great for you, but that's not everybody in the gym, right? So anyway, sorry, Chad, I had to go on another tangent.
I loved it. That's what I was looking for. So thank you so much. You were a perfect guest. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time, especially during your drive. I wish you luck on all your future endeavors, and I'll keep in touch. I always watch your stuff. Keep posting, doing the exact posts that you're doing. You're entertaining to watch, and you're a delight to have on the podcast. So thank you. Do you have anything else before we close it up?
No, I think I've ranted enough. I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you. Seriously, you're an amazing person, amazing host and everything. So I had a blast chatting with you. I will go on tangents about anything and everything any chance I get. So seriously,
heck yeah,
dude. Thank you. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for keeping the sport, and thank you for keeping your gym a safe place for women, and thank you for always hearing people out too, so I appreciate that.
Heck yeah. And by the way, get to your destination safely.
Oh yeah, I'm only an hour away.
Okay, good. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Katie. And I'll see you on the next one.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chad. Have a good one.